Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is going to be a special Heel Heat Top 10. Why is it special? Well, we're going to deviate a little bit from our normal standard procedure. Normally, my page and my shows all are talking about professional wrestling. Every now and again, I do like to put out something outside of the world of wrestling. And this is a top 10 dedicated to Chris Cornell. At the time of this recording, it's been about a week 9 days since Chris has passed away. And it kind of hit me hard because this is a guy that was part of the soundtrack of my youth and has stayed that way for the last 25-30 years. He's been a guy I've listened to through all the different groups, whether it be Temple of the Dog, Soundgarden, Audio Slave, his solo work. Just an amazing singer, one of the great singers in the history of rock music. It took me a while because it kind of hit me hard, and it took me a while to think of and compose this and be ready to tape this, because I kind of had to make myself a little bit emotionally ready to talk about that. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the format, I'm basically going to go through the top 10 songs of Chris Cornell's career. I'm going to give you by name, what band he was in, or if he was solo at the time, and a little bit of a description of what each is, without playing the songs actually, because I don't own the rights to any of them and I don't want YouTube to kick this video down. That being said, this is our top 10 Chris Cornell songs, a tribute to the great man. We're going to kick it right into gear with number 10, Jesus Christ Pose. Just an absolute amazing song with amazing riffs and vocals. One of the real backbones of the Soundgarden catalog. One that you can put on that everybody kind of knows, everybody's heard. One that when they play at shows, it would bring everybody to their feet and everybody would be cheering along with it. Just a great rock anthem and a great overall song with great vocals by Cornell himself. Now our number 9, probably the most famous Soundgarden song, Black Hole Sun. Now everybody remembers a weird video they made with the tripping like faces and melting faces, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But the song itself was quite spectacular. There's a reason why it became so popular and so beloved with the fans of rock music and beloved with the fans of Soundgarden. It just was an amazing song, probably their most famous and probably the one that really, when you look back at Soundgarden, it's the one that you really remember as their career-defining song. Now our number 8, the first from Audio Slave on our list, Show Me How to Live. Just an amazingly beautiful song. I came in, and I'll preface this with, I was a huge Soundgarden fan and a huge Rage Against the Machine fan. I did not want to see anybody else fronting Rage Against the Machine, which basically is all it was Chris Cornell took over Zach De La Rocha's position in Rage Against the Machine and they became Audio Slave, making a supergroup, basically. To me, I was such a huge Rage fan that I didn't want to like this. I didn't want to like Audio Slave. But the music they put out was so good that I couldn't not like it. And this is one of their songs, Show Me How to Live. Just a beautiful song, just a great arrangement. Shows some of the more melodic sides of Cornell. It's just a fantastic way. Just another example of how someone's talent forces its way through and makes you appreciate it even when you're not ready to. Now our number 7. This is a song that has a lot of personal meaning to me. It's by Temple of the Dog. Say Hello to Heaven. It originally was on the Temple of the Dog soundtrack, which is a tribute to Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone, who was Chris Cornell's best friend and roommate. Also, Mother Love Bone's a group I rather enjoy, another one of my favorite bands. That all said, it was an amazing song even with all of that, but it has another deeper connection. A few years back, my Uncle Scott suddenly passed away. It was not expected. He went in the hospital one night and passed away overnight, basically while I was sleeping. I didn't even know he went to the hospital before I found out he passed away. My Uncle Scott was a guy who, when I was younger, we had two houses on the same property, basically. We had one house, and Uncle Scott and his family lived in another house. Well, basically, my Uncle Scott lived 50 feet away from my house. There were two, like I said, two houses, same property. My family here, his family there. And he was a guy I've seen every day who was full of life, full of joy, always willing to make people smile, and always brought a smile to my face. Just a general happy man. And when he had passed, while I was still processing his passing, I was driving and I was listening to the radio, and this song came on, Say Hello to Heaven. And I just broke down. It was the first time I cried over the fact that he had passed away. And ever since then, I've connected the song back to that day. And I don't think of it doesn't make me bring up sad memories, but it makes me think really good things. It reminds me of my Uncle Scott, all for that specific reason. A very emotional and very deeply personal song, which is what music can do, which is why I choose to do this list in tribute. Now, moving on from that to our number 6 song, Sessions. One of the only one in the top 10 that's from Chris Cornell's solo career, although do not mistake that as his solo career being horrible. He had some very great songs there, just other songs I thought were better. This comes off of the single soundtrack, the quintessential grunge era, slacker, Generation X love story movie. And he puts the song in there, and it was just an amazing song, just a different take at that time from what we've known him from. We would get to hear more of this as his career went on. But just a beautiful, ethereal song, something that you can listen to now, and it's still just as good as it was the day it was made. Now our number 5 is Rusty Cage by Soundgarden. Another example, just like I said with Black Hole Sun, Jesus Christ Pose, another one of the quintessential Soundgarden songs, one of the songs that really makes you think of the greatness of the band. What can I say about it as a song? I mean, it's a song that even the great Johnny Cash chose to cover. It's a song that just sings to you, and it sings to the angst and the generation that was Generation X, that's my generation, the generation that grew up in that era. They feel that feeling of being trapped and not being able to break out of the shadow and not being as good as your parents, or just that whole vibe, that whole feeling of the early 90s kind of encompassed in the song. And all the anger and all the rage that was building up at the time. Now our number 4 is Like a Stone by Audioslave. What can I say about the song other than it's just, the vocals on this are so beautiful and so amazing, and the message of being willing to wait for someone like a stone, willing to stay there stay there as long as it takes. It just speaks to you as a person. We all have that person, whether it be someone that a girlfriend or boyfriend that you wait on, or a friend that's going through some tough times, or a relative that you always stick with no matter what. And basically that's the meaning of this song, and it's such a beautiful song, such an amazing message, such a great vocals as all these songs are, and great, just great altogether. Now our number 3, from Soundgarden era, Fell on Black Days. Another beautiful song, a little bit about depression, as you would see a theme of his career. It just, another one that cuts right through, hits you in your soul, and lets you feel exactly what Cornell was feeling when he wrote the lyrics for the song. Just a beautiful timing. Everything about the song is just amazing. Just much like everything else I've said, I keep repeating the same things over and over again because it can be said on everything he sings how beautiful his voice is, and this is another one that even through the pain you hear the beauty. And number 2, another one along the same lines from the Soundgarden catalog, Outshine. Just, to me, this was a song that made me go, wow, Soundgarden they're really special. They're really something. This song was so good and so different than everything else. I mean, just the way he sings, the way the music is played, the way the drums are played on it, the way the bass comes in, everything about it was just so perfectly beautiful, so in tune, to me, this was a Soundgarden at their very best, at the best they could do, and they hit a home run with that, and I think it's one of my absolute favorite songs of all time, and one of my favorite Chris Cornell and Soundgarden songs as well. To me, the lyric, it's just everything about it, just an amazing song. Now, for those of you new to this and haven't seen any of our videos before, on our top 10 countdowns, we do a little thing called the best of the rest. Before I get into number 1, we're going to go ahead and go through them. And basically, these are the other songs in this case that were considered for the list but didn't quite make it. I'm going to go through these rather quickly. We have Blowing Up the Outside World by Soundgarden, Pretty Noose by Soundgarden, I Am the Highway by Audioslave, and Gasoline by Audioslave. And last but not least, one that I wanted to take a little bit more time than just mentioning the name of the song, Billie Jean, the Michael Jackson cover that Chris Cornell did in one of his solo albums. Talk about taking a song and making it your own, and taking a song that everybody knows. Billie Jean is such an iconic song, and taking it from Michael Jackson's song and making it a Chris Cornell song, which he absolutely did. It's one of the songs that's never really got really big and popular. It never got a lot of airplay. So if you haven't heard it, please go check it out, because he does the song justice, and he makes it in his own way, and he makes a beautiful version of it, in my opinion. That being said, before we jump into number 1, please remember to hit like and share, subscribe if you haven't done it already to this video. Let us know what you think. Write a comment down there. Tell us if you think we left something up too high, put something too low, left a song altogether off of here that makes you think of Chris Cornell. I'd love to hear it. There's probably 50 other songs that could have made this list, but you got to narrow it down to something. With all that being said, our number 1 song, Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog. To me, this is pretty much one of the 3 or 4 quintessential grunge music songs. One that if you say to me, play me a song that explains grunge music, it's right here. You have the heaviness, the melody, you have the back and forth singing between Cornell and Eddie Vedder, the music of guys that would go on to be in Pearl Jam and Soundgarden as well. Basically a super group of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden before Pearl Jam was even a thing. Just a perfectly beautiful song, just sets the tone. Another song that was off the Temple of the Dog album, which was a tribute to the late great Andrew Wood. Kind of keeping in vain his legacy and going forward to what would be the music of our generation, of Generation X, the sound that defined us as a generation. And just another amazingly beautiful song. Another reason why Chris Cornell is one of the great rock and roll singers, in my opinion. Just a guy who put on such beauty into the world. And just remember, as we've heard of the passing, sometimes it's the people that make you feel the best that are hurting the most. Keep that in mind as you go forward, people, and try and put smiles on people's faces and be a positive person in other people's lives. You never know what someone's going through on the inside, and you never know where that laugh or that smile or that hug or handshake or high five or kiss on the cheek or anything can be the difference between a terrible day and a great day, especially with some people that are battling through depression. Just be good to everybody. That's my general theory on the world. But also, in times like this where we see, much like Chris Cornell, much like Robin Williams, someone that brought so much joy and beauty into the world, had so much pain themselves. Just try and remember that on how you treat people, and try and treat people in a way that enriches their life and makes their life better. Now, off of my soapbox, basically, that's all I have to say about this. Remember again to hit like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. My name is George Coles, and this has been a Heel Heat Special Top 10.